When you don't have a specific task, when your incentives are not explicitly aligned to your task, it's very easy to be anxious about whether you're working on the right thing, because it's up to you to decide what's important. And you've come from an environment in which some boss or some supervisor or some manager is telling you what to do, and now you have to decide. And yet you don't know, because your task is non-specific and your incentives are not explicitly aligned. This anxiety often causes people to stall. I heard one subordinate say, well, there were 3 different ways that I could have done it. So what did you do? Well, I didn't do any of them. I didn't know which one was right. Any of them would have worked. But they were paralyzed by, it's the paradox of choice. Sometimes the more choices you give someone, the more difficult it is for them to make a decision about aligning their energy or choosing between alternatives. When we're faced with the responsibility of making our own decisions about what to do, communicating them to others for their judgment, keeping, that is, the team informed, and doing it in a way that we're hoping makes less work for others, the anxiety of being wrong or doing the wrong thing often causes us to lock up. What's the answer? Just keep going. When you showed up to work and the boss wasn't there, what do?
Just keep going.
Something. Yeah, you keep doing what you were doing the day before until somebody else coordinates with you in a way that causes you to do something else. These are the kinds of questions people ask themselves that undermine just keep going. I didn't want to waste my effort. In the old solution, specified task, alignment of incentives, wasting your effort is bad. You're wasting your resources. You might be wasting the organization's resources. And because the payment incentives are aligned with the effort, you don't want to waste your effort. There's an ethic that wasted effort is bad. But in a startup environment, it's all wasted effort. We start from the premise that everything we do is a waste because we have no idea whether what we're working on is going to be the thing that pays off or isn't. We lower the emotional expectations, say, today I'm going to waste all of my effort. As a matter of fact, I'm going to put in so much effort, I'm going to waste more effort. I'm wasting from 5 to 9 and it's all a waste. Because we don't know which one of those efforts is going to be the one that pays off. We might have to prototype 10 times before we get one that we can sell. The musician doesn't complain that they're wasting effort when they practice their scales. But for some reason, my students, they think about writing and they're like, I wasted my effort. When I did that draft and I didn't get to hand it in because it wasn't right, or Seeger rewrote it, or so-and-so didn't like it, what a waste of effort. Practice is not a waste of effort. And a startup is practice. What are you practicing for? You're practicing for when you've created customers. So one of the things, when you hear your people on your team saying, I didn't want to waste my effort, push back right away. Be okay wasting your effort. Another one that we hear is, but what's the point? It's related to wasted effort. But what's the point of that? People want to know the point, and what they're speaking to is the alignment of incentives. They want to know the specificity of tasks. They want to know that their incentives are aligned with the task, and they say, how will I be rewarded? What will be the guaranteed outcome that results from my not wasted effort? And the answer is, we don't know. You don't know the point until you put in the effort. You have to be open to the idea of surprise. In the gig economy, there's no surprises. Maybe you get a tip, and you might get a good tip. I suppose that could be a pleasant surprise. But that's not a fundamental surprise. There's a difference between surprise and fundamental surprise. You buy a lottery ticket and you win the lottery. That's a surprise. You don't buy a lottery ticket and you still win. That's a fundamental surprise. The fundamental surprise is the thing that you thought was impossible and still happens. What's the point? The point is we keep trying things because sometimes the things that we think are impossible happen. And that's a startup environment. The last one is, I'm not sure if. We hear people in our organization say, well, I'm not sure if in a bureaucratic organization, there's a bias against doing things without certainty. If you're not sure, don't do it. You might break it. Don't touch the button if you don't know what it does. But in a startup environment, we're not sure of anything. That's the uncertainty and that's the ambiguity. In a startup environment or a research environment, not sure is a great condition to be in. If we were to do things that we were sure of, it wouldn't be called a startup. Once we find something we're not sure of, then we're like, aha, that should be maybe that's exactly the thing. The response to this is, how would you find out? Well, I'm not sure if, how would you find out? And the answer is, run the experiment. The question is not whether you're sure, the question is it a worthy experiment? Is it worth finding out? And how do you find out? You prioritize your energy, you tell people what you're doing, you run the experiment, gather the information, and you share it back with the team. Just keep going.